Greetings folks, and welcome to the second part of the 2023 Halloween Havoc series on scary, spooky Sega Master System games. I've got another batch of games for you to look at today, and I do apologise, I am recovering from a cold so my voice may sound a little bit rough. But anyway, let's get on to the first one of these spooky, scary games. So first up today we have Basketball Nightmare. This is a bit of a rarity. Not only is it a horror game, but it's also a sports game at the same time, and coincidentally this was the first game for the Master System I ever bought for myself. Now, as you can clearly see here, despite being a bit flickery, this is a basketball game and you play against various monsters. For example, in this first game here, you're playing against some werewolves. Now, you can see you've got a spooky looking court. You play against vampires, ghosts, werewolves. It's pretty kind of spooky, especially for a sports game. And it's a good little bit of fun. You know, it's different. It's not got that sterile nature that most sports games have of Team A versus Team B. You've got this spookiness, it's got that little creepy music in the background as well, which does get a little bit annoying after a while, but it does have a nice vibe. And obviously you've got these really cool looking close-ups where you can see yourself and the monsters doing slam dunks. Is it scary? Not particularly, but it is a little bit spooky and a little bit creepy, and you know, that's what Halloween's about, right? So, next up we have Bram Stoker's Dracula, which quite obviously is a tie-in to the film of the same name released in the early 1990s, which, despite its title, even though it's relatively accurate, isn't really Dracula as told in Bram Stoker's novel. Now, the video game, as was typical for the time, it's a platformer, albeit a kind of Castlevania-esque-ish one, which is pretty important on the Master System, given that the Master System never actually received an official Castlevania game. It's reasonably okay, I suppose. You know, it plays alright, it looks okay. I mean, your central character, which is supposed to be Jonathan Harker, kinda looks like a refugee from a 1960s psychedelic band, but you know, he's well animated, he bounces around the levels well, and the levels look suitably, you know, spooky. This is Transylvania after all, and yeah, there's not a lot you can say about it. The soundtrack's alright, the controls are good. It's bang average, to be fair. I mean, there's better platform games on the system, and there's worse platform games on the system. Yeah, it's one of those games. It's just very meh. And to be fair, if it wasn't for the license, it would probably be something that would not ever enter onto anyone's radar. Certainly wouldn't be on my radar if it wasn't a licensed game and I was looking at it for this video. Yeah, it's Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's a movie tie-in, it's a little bit spooky, a little bit creepy, and yeah, I just don't have anything to say about it. So, the third spooky, scary game on our list today is Wolfchild. Now, again, it's kind of pushing the limits of being a scary horror game, but your character that you play in the game is, in essence, a werewolf, and you run around these platform levels punching and eventually shooting bad guys, and you collect power-ups and turn into a werewolf. To be fair, it's a pretty good game. It looks pretty decent for the Master System. It's got that nice sort of shiny 1990s futuristic aesthetic that you saw with a lot of titles, especially from European developers who'd come from platforms like the Atari ST and the Commodore Amiga, where this kind of look was pretty par for the course for sort of futuristic-y, sci-fi-esque games. And, it plays pretty well. It looks decent, the animation's good. But again, it's one of those games, it's not outstanding in any way, shape or form, but it is fun. And, we get to play a werewolf that gets to punch other weird creature monster things in the head, which is always fun. Who doesn't like punching monsters? And you're more powerful as the werewolf, which is how it should be. A werewolf should be more powerful than a human. And it's borderline horror and borderline scary, but it's a fun little game, and you'll get plenty of enjoyment out of it. Now, much like on the previous video, I have saved the absolute best till last here. This is Master of Darkness, also known as Vampire in some territories. This is by far the best game of its type on the Master System. It's a platform action adventure. Basically, it's Castlevania for the Master System, which is really good because, as I've already mentioned, the Master System didn't get a Castlevania, but this game is very much Castlevania. The way it looks, the way it plays, it is Castlevania. But that's not a bad thing, that's a really good thing, because this is a superb Castlevania game, even if it doesn't have the name. Like I said, it looks like Castlevania, it's got that suitably spooky look and feel to it. You've got the hidden objects in walls. Even the staircases look like Castlevania. How the hell Konami did not sue Sega for producing this game, I will never know. But it's easily the best game of this type on the Master System, as I said. Everything about it is brilliant. The controls are spot on. The graphics are brilliantly atmospheric. The sound is superb. I think the only thing that lets it down is it is, well, like the Castlevania games, really rather difficult. For somebody who is, let's just say, average or slightly below average in their gaming skills, like myself, it can be quite tough to progress far in this game, but it's worth it. It's a fun title to play, and it's perfectly spooky and atmospheric and scary as these things go. It's what you want in a game like this. And yes, I say it's a Castlevania game. That's a pre-Metroidvania style Castlevania game, so it's pre-Symphony of the Night. If you played Castlevania 2 and 3 on the NES or Castlevania 4 on the SNES, you'll know exactly what you're going to get here. Linear platform levels broken up into sections, but it's superb. The Master System needed a game like this, and it's just a shame it came out at what was quite relatively the end of the Master System's commercial life in its biggest market, which was Europe. Had this come out a couple of years earlier, who knows, we might have seen a sequel, might have even seen a Mega Drive sequel, but that's something to maybe contemplate for another time. So there you have it, folks. 4 more spooky, scary games for the Sega Master System. Now, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all the usual stuff. There are other videos you can watch. The Halloween Havoc series goes back a few years. And feel free to leave your comments below. Follow me on all the social medias you'll see linked in the description. And until the next video, this is Rob saying so long.